Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day, an extra fantastic day if you celebrate Christmas. Merry Christmas Eve. Hoping you get to spend some time with the family, that you get everything done that you need to get done. So maybe you can actually relax a little bit tonight before the really hectic stuff starts tomorrow. But on that note, we have a little celebrating to do for the WNBA and Caitlin Clark. Yes, AP has decided it is safe after Time Magazine, and the Associated Press has now honored Caitlin Clark as the AP Female Athlete of the Year following her impact on women's sports, an award that has been around since 1931, if I read correctly. Absolutely wild. Of course she did. Again, this year involves what she did in college as well for the most of her senior year. Obviously, it started in 2023, but she broke the record in 24, got Iowa all the way back to the finals and on and on. And of course, raised the profile of women's basketball in general to levels it has never seen before. I think I should have double checked because now I'm doubting myself. But was it this year that the ratings for the women's finals did better than the men's, or was it last year? I think it was this year, right, with the South Carolina game. And of course, then she's the top pick in the draft, and so on. We know about the fans packing out sold out arenas. Teams like the Washington Mystics, whose owner hates Caitlin Clark, but will of course move to a bigger arena to fill it when Caitlin Clark shows up. Oddly enough, Atlanta Dream owner, you are not like them, she says, right? You're different. They don't want you. But again, got to move to a bigger arena when Caitlin Clark arrives so she can set a WNBA attendance record for the Atlanta Dream, set I believe, WNBA league record for one of the games against the Washington Mystics. Now, this was unlike, by the way, and I didn't mention it in the in the video. I completely forgot and should have. The Asia Wilson Sports Illustrated Player of the Year or whatever, Athlete of the Year. I think it was Player of the Year that came out right after Time. That was one person. That was one person who did that. It was just, hey, I'm going to call it an award. I can do that. But here, AP had a group of 74 sports journalists. Now, yeah, it's sports journalists, but still, hey, at least it was 74 of them, right? Caitlin Clark got 35 of the votes, she outpaced Olympian Simone Biles, who had 25. Only fourth women's basketball player that was honored as Female Athlete of the Year in what, almost 100 years, right? 1931. Joining, I can't believe I'm going to say this, Cheryl Swoops in 93. But that was manufactured, a great manufactured job, and going around with Jordan and all that. Rebecca Lobo, although that was later, to be fair, and Candace Parker, who got the award twice. Now, of course, AP did have to throw in a little nonsense. Again, we're going to see this all the time now, unfortunately. Caitlin, they had to throw in the quote from Caitlin. I grew up a fan of Candace Parker and the people who came before me, and to be honored in this way is super special, and I'm thankful, Clark said in a phone interview. It's a great year for women's basketball and women's sports. Now, it's great. That's Caitlin Clark, and it's great. But as we all know, and I'm sure she feels this way, and we've talked about it with that, it's it's always has to be mentioned, right? When it's always has to be mentioned now. And I tweeted about this the other day. I said, does anyone have the list of all the women's basketball players that we have to mention and praise before we can talk about Clark? When was the last time in pro sports that athletes did this or were asked the question, right? Do baseball MVPs and Cy Young winners, do they talk about Babe Ruth or Hank Aaron or Bob Gibson or Christy Mathewson when they win? Every time they speak, do they have to recite these players' names? Man, we need to move on from this idea that every time Clark accomplishes something, she needs to recite a list of players that no one watched. But again, going back to college, she set the NCAA scoring record, men's and I shouldn't say men's, overall and women's, right? By beating Kelsey Plum's record. faster than Kelsey Plum, by the way, Cheryl Swoops, and also beating Pistol Pete Maravich's record. But then again, I'm going to take this is direct from AP. For all the success Clark has had and the attention she has brought to women's basketball, she is often the centerpiece of debates and online toxicity towards her and other players in the league. For her part, Clark has disavowed the toxic discourse, of course, and she shouldn't have to because it has nothing to do with her. Now, one thing I want to mention is Rebecca Lobo, who has been one of the few, has been, I would say, I mean, she's praised. I was going to say neutral, but she's praised Caitlin Clark. And yeah, neutral maybe is it. Normal. She praises Caitlin Clark when she deserves to be praised. Rebecca Lobo said she's brought unprecedented attention, both in the building, but also viewership to the sport that was worthy of it, but didn't have it yet. There's never been anything like this. Yeah, I'm going to let it slide. It's the holiday season, but I don't know that it was worthy. If it was worthy, it would have got it would have gotten it. Well, we of course we have some people in the comments a little upset. Question: which WNBA team won the championship? Which player scored the most points and broke records? There's got a lot of responses. We'll get into that in a minute because, again, athlete of the year. It doesn't actually have anything to do with the WNBA. As I mentioned, she's the fourth basketball player in the almost 100 years of the award. But here we go, right? They're never going to live it down. Better make sure you can fit the entire league on the cover, right? Well deserved. Congratulations to Caitlin. Caitlin Clark came, yeah, right. Okay, there's going all the numbers I gave to let everyone know. Done with class and under a pressure unknown to every WNBA player. Here we go. Really nice how some WNBA players embrace DC. And this is just a few of them. I mean, I think there were some that were worse. Now, to be fair, I think it is the right there. To be fair, that one we just missed where she slid, and I believe and this is blurry, but I believe it was Jackie Young. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right here, she's done that. Any basketball player who's played will tell you that they've done that. And that little slide by Caitlin Clark, regardless of whether it was an ankle or anything else, that hurts the knees. That burns, folks. And Jackie Young was checking on Caitlin Clark, actually, and Jackie Young went down to her knee to pretend to tie her shoe in order to give Caitlin Clark some time. So, hey, like I say, I know a lot of people get upset when I get into negative stuff, but I'm going to be fair. It's just like I said, I can't, as a person right there, Kennedy Carter, awful. I mean, she's been kicked off multiple teams for reasons. But I'm not going to say because I think she's awful. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, she can't play basketball. She can ball. That was a great show of sportsmanship by Jackie Young. And man, that is Jackie Young, right? I'm not losing my mind. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think that was one of those things that was awesome to see. But getting ready for the haters, I'm not even going to look at that. It's probably not actually sensitive. But then we had some more that wanted to answer this question. No one cares. It is total impact. And to your second question, Clark scored the most points ever, broke a ton of records in college, all-time scoring record. Also in 2024, 62 WNBA records. And then that's not even including the viewership and attendance, all that. Thank you for underscoring the point that Clark's the obvious pick. None of that matters. It's about impact in the sport. That award said year, not year in WNBA. And for the context, Caitlin's year included WNBA and college. Cry louder. Broke monumental records. Whoops. Sorry about that. For NCAA and WNBA in the same year, while also bringing the most eyes to her sport. Easy choice. So lots of that. And of course, they did show that as well. There's fueled by Clark, Fever's attendance soared. WNBA had its highest total attendance in 22 years, up 48% from last season. By the way, that shows you what I've been trying to say. They're disingenuous when they've talked about how the league has been growing. No, it had a severe downturn in 2020, and it's been climbing back to what it was 20 plus years ago. So it's been flat for 20 years. Okay. And now Caitlin Clark's taking it to the next level. League's 154 sellouts, 242% increase from last season. Think about that. Last season, there were 45 sellouts, and I'm guessing some of those were in the 3,000 and 4,000 seat arenas. This year, there were 154. We all know Clark, responsible for 26% of the revenue of the league. TV viewership up 300%. Because of Clark. She averaged, what was it, 1.117 million for Clark's games, 394,000 for the rest of the WNBA. There it is. Okay, so it was this year, women's championship game, 18.9 million, outdrew the men for the first time in the sport's 42-year history. 2024 WNBA draft, most watched in league history with 2.4 million. So shout out Caitlin Clark again. Congratulations, well deserved. A lot of people just still can't cope with it, but it is what it is. And I mean, that's it. I'm going to leave it there. I just wanted to let you all know that she got this award, unlike the Sports Illustrated award. And by the way, I do want to point out that she earned this award. That's why I wanted to kind of recite some of these things again to remind people what she actually did this year. So she clearly earned this award. It was not, I don't know, the privilege of growing up, going to a very expensive private school your entire life. A'ja Wilson, just saying, I don't know. That sounds kind of privileged to me, but I want to leave it there. Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments below. If you have been enjoying the content and you have not subscribed yet, please take a moment, hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. Also, don't forget to like. That's just that one little thing. I think you can do that for me. I really do appreciate that as well. Again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all of those things. Hope you're having a fantastic time with family at the end of the year here, and I will talk to you later.